Michal Gromek, you are leading the insurance tech track at Sthlm Fintech Week. What do you expect to get out of it?
I expect to get out of it a lot of discussions and us moving forward, because despite the growth of the industry, there are a lot of different places where it feels that we are stuck as a community, as a branch of industry, and partly as a country as well.
We see the disruptive forces that we've seen within the fintech industry, in insurance tech as well.
The challenge with InsurTech is more that because it's more complex than fintech, you see that the founders in InsurTech are older as well. This is the reason why you have, or the public starts to know and notice InsurTech now and not 10 years ago, because from a complexity point of view of Izettle, Klarna or Bambora, who are our fintech unicorns, started way earlier, but they started in the payment area, and it's so easy to notify the financial supervision, the registration, and start a payment company. It's so much more complex to do payments plus verification of the customers plus insurance, and the complexity is higher and higher. That's the reason why you have seen that InsurTech is growing. It's growing quicker than fintech. It's just started a little bit later.
Can one say that the barriers of entry are higher within InsurTech?
I think when you say higher, then you are expressing them very nicely. They are rather crazy to super crazy to bizarre to understand how difficult it is for startups to actually enter into insurance. That's the reason why we have insurance and we have reinsurance. So a lot of different startups are partnering with other insurance companies, and they try to join forces to do things together. And this one setup, the partner has a license, and the other setup, the other startup is more or less more accessible for consumers, for example.
So will this be topics that you will discuss during the Sthlm Fintech Week?
Definitely. And one of my favorite players or topics that we'll be discussing is that finally we'll be having somebody who is launching during the Sthlm Fintech Week. Their new product is like Trivago, but for insurance. This means that consumers will be able to compare insurance based on 20, 30 different criteria. And this is something what has been disputed or feared by the market, because for now we can only compare insurance products based on price. What if this changes? And suddenly the consumer gets the power and see that it's not only the lowest price, but it's like the worst coverage on earth. So we are really looking forward to the discussion and then the fear and potential that this partner brings to the market.
So what do you expect will happen in a couple of years' time when it has reached the market?
I think as of now, thinking about a little bit the disruption forces. For now, we don't have any kind of sense of urgency, or at least this is how I feel that a lot of market players think that the market looks like. Okay, the consumer started to use mobile. They use brokerage services in order to compare prices. And this is it. So we just had to do an online presence, and we had to connect to the different brokers. I don't think that this is the case. So it seems that the consumers have really shifted the way how they see insurance. And there is something, to just give you one example, insurance as of today is reactive. This means, maybe this is not the best example, but our house has to burn down first, then we reach out to our insurance provider. But just imagine with the data we have as of today, then suddenly you can be out sailing and you can be getting an SMS that says, please return to the harbor because the weather has changed. And this is where insurance is going. I'm not sure if all of the market players are seeing that this shift has already taken place in other countries.
Do you think we'll see, what kind of crowd do you think we'll see at the Sthlm Fintech Week? Will we see the big old insurance companies with the new, more fast-moving companies?
Usually it's a mix of both. So when we have been checking and investigating our players from last edition, then we understood that half of, 35% of them are rather startups. They are either fintechs, regtechs, insurtech startups. Then the other 30% are rather what we call incumbents, so traditional financial providers, brokers, consultants. And then the other 40% are players from a lot of different areas. So it's academia, we have legislators, regulators. So then the goal of the Stockholm Fintech Week is actually to finally have a platform where all of those players can speak to each other, because usually academics have been discussing aspects in academic conferences, politicians have been focusing on their conferences, then we have incumbent conferences, we have startup conferences, where everybody says that everybody else is supposed to be doing something. So suddenly there is no excuse while coming to Stockholm Fintech Week and claiming that somebody else will do things for us. I think we just have to wake up and realize where we are in the market and what are the next steps that we're supposed to be taking.
Will this be achieved?
You have to start somewhere. So having a panel discussion of 25 minutes discussing that a lot of InsurTech companies cannot partner up with Swedish players, but then they have to go abroad to find insurance and direct insurance companies, and having a discussion for 20 minutes with 4 different players and expecting then suddenly a miracle will happen and everybody will stand up and say, okay, I'm doing reinsurance for everybody for free. It's a little bit an illusion, maybe, but we have to start somewhere. And this is the first time when we are actually trying to address those challenges and discuss the how, and just not say blockchain is coming or artificial intelligence is coming. Okay, we know that it's coming. The question is how it will potentially affect the different markets, and how can we implement the different technology in order to not confuse it with the word solution, to make sense and to be implemented in the different companies as soon as possible, avoiding the mistakes that everybody else has been doing. And this is the focus for the Stockholm Fintech Week.
Thank you.